you have the great advantage that there are other professions that have gone through this before you, and you can see what they've done in right and wrong, and you can see other industries as well, how they've screwed it up. So, for example, and it's because they waited for the change to happen, as opposed to grabbing the bull by the horns, right?
It's just one S, no big deal.
Right, and so, for example, why is it that Netflix invented Netflix and not the movie and television industry? It's because the movie and television industry were protecting their old business model and literally ignorant of the fact that the world was changing around them. You know, Netflix had this new subscription model, and it was a small company. Blockbuster, which was the 800-pound gorilla, like, you remember when we used to get DVDs in the mail? So, like, they knew streaming was coming. They just didn't, it just wasn't there yet. And so the CEO of Blockbuster went to the board and said, I think we should explore subscription, because this little thing called Netflix is onto something that's going to happen when the technology gets better. And the board wouldn't let him change the business model to subscription because they made 12% of their revenues from late fees. And look what happened. Blockbuster does not exist, except for one store in northern Canada. And Netflix is the dominant force in television and movies. Why is it that a computer company invented iTunes and not the music industry? It's because they saw the change coming, and the music industry was still trying to protect selling albums in stores, because they saw their customer as Tower Records and HMV, whereas iTunes, Apple, saw the customer as the person who actually buys and listens to the music. Why is it that Amazon invented Amazon and the e-reader, and publishing industry did not even invent the Kindle? Like, it's because they're too busy protecting the old business model. So I think if you go down this route of protectionism, of protecting what we have and staving off change, you are signing your own death warrant. And if it's not your death warrant, your business is going to become way more difficult, and another firm or another that may be completely outside your profession. Remember, iTunes, Netflix, all of these were companies completely outside their own industry. In other words, they couldn't even figure out which one of you it's going to be, because it won't be any of you. It might be a software company that'll completely eviscerate your profession. And so I think to be the one that says, okay, it won't be the way it was. We can't defend the way it was, and we're going to have to imagine, what if we were to invent our industry now, knowing nothing? What would we do? And again, this goes back to the question of why. Well, why did you get into the industry in the first place? Did you get into this profession because your parents told you to and you can make a good living? You're not going to be the innovator. You know? Did you get in this industry because you love math? You know? You're not going to be the innovator. Did you get into this industry, and do you love this industry when you really get to help people re-understand and reimagine how to build an organization? Because when you can understand the language of mathematics, when you can understand the language of a balance sheet, as clearly as you can understand the language of cultural change, it's kind of like that, right? It's the rational and the emotional. And we said it before, which is the numbers are only half a picture of the health of the business. And if you got in this industry to be of service to human beings who are trying to do bigger things for themselves, for their families, for society, through their customers, you might be onto something. So the question is, what value do you offer to the people who buy your product? Now, how would you do that in this new changing day and age? And literally ignore whatever was, because it's irrelevant, because it may or may not survive. The industry, the profession will do fine if you're the ones willing to blow up your own business. But if you're going to protect your business, it'll get blown up for you.